Happy New Year! We, we all made it. People on the camera, Happy New Year. Johnny, West Coast. People that have joined us online, Happy New Year. Oh, look at Michael, the designer is here. Well, welcome everybody. This is a service of participation. So this service actually relies on your experience. And so our goal today is just to be able to share the results of God in your life, whether you learn something out of what it might seem as a setback, or maybe you had a great victory. I know that I learned more from my own setbacks, but I know that I learn more from other people's setbacks too. So maybe if you have a setback that you actually learned or grew from and you found God out of, we'll have a time of sharing. So if you feel comfortable with that, maybe a 5 minute share on the result of God in your life in 2011. So we're going to sing a couple of songs. I can't even blame that on dyslexia. Like that's just Michael J. Fox and Back to the Future just happened. At any rate, thank you for your forgiveness and tolerance of. All right, where was I? So, in the next couple of songs, would you just focus on what God will have you share today, and then we'll go from there. So Joanne's going to lead our time of singing. So we're going to do 2 songs, and then I'll invite you guys to come up and share as you will. And it's basically starting the year off with a praise report, a testimony. I know that there are people in hospital beds. There are people in the West Coast and the East Coast. There are people that have struggled in their addictions. There are people that are struggling in their home life or relationships. And if you can give a word of encouragement of something that God brought you through or is still teaching and growing you, it actually encourages all of us. So we overcome the enemy by the word of our testimony and the blood of the Lamb. So would you all just please participate to as you feel comfortable and led. So Joanne, take it away. I'll try to get some sanitary stuff.
Are you the in-between person? Like in between every person? Oh, okay. He doesn't know yet. We'll find out. So one thing that I learned a lot this year was to stop before I start, and then if I've started, to stop more often. And I feel like that just overflows and taught me so much about like worshiping God and praising God. It's just like so often I get so caught up in all of the things to do. Like I was saying to a friend today, like just when I've done and put away all my laundry, I see 2 mountains. I'm like, how did that happen? And so, but I feel like just that stopping and just being present and not getting bombarded constantly with all the things that need to be done, whether they're real or fancied. And I think just I've learned so much this year about to meditate and to pray and be quiet, because I don't know about you, but my mind swirls around a lot. It can get really chaotic in my brain, and I need to stop. I realize it's actually vital to me to stop. And so God's word, the Bible, has been just a huge part of that. And so I just wanted to start with the first few verses of Psalm 145, and then we will get to some music. And as we get to that part, I just, whether the music is like familiar to you or you've never heard it in your entire life, I just encourage you to meditate and to, whether you believe in God or not, whatever. I just encourage you to take that time to stop and pause and just even reflect on the year, like John said. So Psalm 145, it says, I will exalt you, my God, the King. I will praise your name forever and ever. Every day I will praise you and extol your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. His greatness no one can fathom. One generation commends your works to another. They tell of your mighty acts. They speak of the glorious splendor of your majesty, and I will meditate on your wonderful works. They tell of the power of your awesome works, and I will proclaim your great deeds. They celebrate your abundant goodness and joyfully sing of your righteousness. So feel free, if you want to stand, you can stand. If you want to sit, you want to sit. If you want to lay down in a pew, feel free. Yeah. I count on one thing. The same God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Yes, I will for all my days. Yes, I will. Oh, yes, I will. I count on one thing. The same God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Yes, I will for all my days. Yes, I will, and I choose to praise, to glorify the name of our name. And nothing can stand against, and I choose to praise, oh, to glorify the name of our name. And nothing can stand against, and I choose to praise, to glorify the name of our name. And nothing can stand against, and I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names. And nothing can stand against. Yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Yes, I will for all my days. Yes, I will for all my days. Yes, I will. I want to know you, Lord, like I know a friend. I want to know you, Lord. I want to know you, Lord, like I know a friend. want to know you, Lord. So I'm laying down all my religion. I'm laying down. I want to know you, Lord. I'm laying down all my religion. I'm laying down. I want to know you, Lord. Used to think that I could box you in, but I'm laying down. I want to know you, Lord. I used to think that I could box you in, but I'm laying down. I want to know you, Lord. I'm laying down all my religion. I'm laying down. I want to know you, Lord. I'm laying down all my religion. I'm laying down. I want to know you, Lord. I want to know you, Lord. Lord, I've been told to be ashamed. Lord, I've been told I don't measure up. Lord, I've been told I'm not good enough. But you're here with me. Oh, I reach out and you find me next. And you say no amount of untruths can separate us. I reach out, yes, I reach out, and you find me next. Oh, you say no amount of untruths can separate us. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord. In you, Lord. We rejoice in you, Lord. We rejoice in you, oh God. Oh, we will rejoice. We will rejoice in you, God. Oh, you're so worthy. You're so worthy of every praise, of all our worship. Oh, Want to know you, Lord, like I know a friend. I want to know you, Lord. I want to know you, Lord, like I know a friend. I want to know you, Lord. God, that is just a prayer that we pray. We just want to know you. Because we know that when we know you, your word says, then we will know ourselves. That our identity comes from you, this great, amazing God. And you want to know us, and that's amazing. So God, I thank you in advance for the power of the stories that are about to be told. Would your word and your encouragement and your truth just ring right through? Amen.
Maybe 2022 I'll have a black Lincoln. Yeah, we don't have a. I've really been impacted this year about Peter in the boat in the storm, and so many times we want the prosperity of God. Like I want the Lincoln. I want a Lincoln. I deserve that. God is going to make me prosperous and all that stuff. But Peter asked for God to give him something to obey. And it's like these little shifts in my thinking that has really impacted my year. So I'll start us off. One of the biggest things that impacted me this year was really understanding my recovery, not as a linear thing. We use this thing called the steps, and it's only 12 steps. Anybody could run up 12 steps, but it's not this linear thing. It's this circular thing. And so as I was doing the work this time around at the beginning of last year, I was going through a thing that we call, and if you've taken LifeLab or getting there, you'll see this thing called inventory. It's you get to see your heart, and we have this new process where it's like a mirror is in front of me, and I got to this point of having a resentment, but the resentment always leads to a fear, and the fear is what separates me from God. If I have fear in the store shelf of my heart, then that's what's actually separating me from God, and I can be driven by the slave driver. I can be guided by God's love and light. And so doing this process actually gets me down to see these fears. And what I've learned this year was God is a loving God and a consensual God and not a forceful God. And he's always there waiting, and I might be crying and screaming and yelling, but he's still waiting. And through this process, while I was doing the work this time, I was given a vision of a grocery store incident with my one of my little sons, and I let him wander away, just like a good parent. You don't want to, you just want to teach them a lesson. Yeah, you wander away, and but I didn't go anywhere else. I didn't go look at the mangoes. I didn't go look at the lettuce. And so he goes around the corner, and I'm following at a pace, at a distance. And all of a sudden, he gets into the milk section, and maybe the cold or maybe the opening of the cooler kind of shocked him. And he looked around, and there was other people, and his dad wasn't there, and he started crying. And then I let him cry a little bit, but I put my hand on his shoulder, and instantly, he stopped crying, and he had the big lip. And isn't that like me? And that's what I thought. It's like, I'm not fearful because my needs aren't getting met. My needs aren't getting met, and that's why I'm fearful. And I was showing that there was a core fear in my heart that I had never seen before. And I was just shocked of like, I'm 15 years in this process. I should be fear free. I should be living in the light of God. And God showed me this fear, and I was impacted, and I told my sponsor, I said, how am I even sober? I'm walking around with this fear in my heart, crying, sobbing, and God put his hand on my shoulder and released me of that fear. And it was a really cool feeling, and just being free of fear and having a deeper relationship with God. So that's kind of what I've at the beginning of the year, walking into that and experiencing God's love on a deeper level. So I just want to open it up to anybody that wants to reflect on the result of God in your life this year, whether it's yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And there's sanitary stuff here, so feel free to use that too. I'll do it. This will solve COVID, I promise. So please come on up and share maybe 5 minutes. If no one comes up, I will call on people.
Happy New Year to everybody. To those who don't know me, my name is Michael. I've been part of this wonderful church since 2017 now. So it's been a while. And the people that did know me back in the day when we were on Fifth, I was getting a small flower shop, and I was struggling to get this little flower shop going. And it's called W Flowers. And it was in 2019 when I was able to purchase it finally. And it was on March 25th that I had my first day there. And then 1 year later, on March 20th, 5 days before my first anniversary, we were told to all go home because the pandemic started. And so I went home and I paced the floor back and forth, and the worry just drove me nuts because I just started the shop. I was just getting a hold of this little business that I wanted to have so bad. But during the time of the month till April, I decided to go back. I decided, pandemic or none, I need to go back. I need to get that line going again. I need to reach out to some people. I need to save my little shop. I had no idea God's plan for me, even before getting the shop. I was against so many obstacles. I didn't know how I managed to get it. Well, I did. Now, it was because of him. He's the one that made this possible. It had nothing to do with me running around to banks and private lenders and trying to figure out how am I going to get this all going. And so it was all him, and I knew that. But I had no idea what was in plan for this little shop. And so when I came back in April, I got things rolling a little bit, The people started calling. I started reaching out to my clientele, people around. And I was sitting at home and I was listening to the news, of course, like everybody else, wondering how we're going to get through this and what's happening in the world and here in Canada and here in Ottawa, period. And I kept hearing the news about the seniors and how, they're alone. The doors were shut. No family were visiting. And I was thinking to myself, someday I'm going to be there. We're all going to be there. And I just felt for them. Everybody was helping a certain group of people. And I wanted to be part of that too. And I had no idea. And he kept calling me to do something about the seniors. So in 2020 of December, I knew that I had to do something for them. And I knew that I had to save my little shop. And my mother's voice kept ringing in my mind. And she used to always say, don't worry about your worries. He's got you covered. It was in French. If I could tell you in French, it would sound more like my mom. But no. It's okay. Anyways, her motto was, you have to be doing something for somebody else. Let him take care of you so that you can do something for somebody else. And that's how I realized my little shop was going to be saved if I let go of all those problems, stop pacing that floor, stop swirling my mind. When you said that, really hit home. So I let it go. And in letting go, I started doing this campaign, and it's called Christmas Smiles Campaign. And it was a really big hit. I had nothing but 99.7 The Boom with Dylan Black. And together we managed to bring over 50 Christmas Smiles, which was an arrangement that I made at the shop, and it was through donations, through my clientele. And I get a portion of it for my shop, but a portion of it was for the centerpiece to give to these seniors. Well, there were 5 homes chosen, and let me tell you, I saw smiles and I saw more tears, just joy to know that there was life and that they weren't alone, and that it wasn't the end of the world out there, because they thought it was finished. It was this is how I'm going to last my few last days are this way. So they didn't know, but it gave them hope, and it was all about hope. If I could today, I would put Michael the Designer's W Flowers, hope, because that's what my little shop has become. Not just the seniors, but just people receiving flowers. I had no idea that I was his hand. I was the one to bring joy and take away that loneliness by coming to the door and giving somebody some flowers that haven't seen their grandchildren or their children. So it really hit home. So this past 2021, when I redid that Christmas Smiles campaign, it doubled. That's because of him again. I'm his little worker, just like we are. You're his little worker when you do all this, right? So I'm his little worker doing that. I found purpose. That was my purpose. They say that if you find purpose, it's all okay, as long as you have purpose. Well, that's my purpose, is to help other people. Through my flowers, I had no idea. So that's what happened to me in 2021. It was a great epiphany to know that he's got me anyways. He brought me here. I didn't do it, he did. So it's in helping other people. And so it's through my shop. That little shop brings in the people. And when they leave, they go, I have this feeling inside. It's like they took some energy that maybe when you came in, you had a wonderful energy about you and you left some. And so you left the shop and left a little bit of energy, and then you came in, and then you need a little bit of energy, so you got a little bit of energy. And so that's how it goes. So that's what I wanted to share with you. That's what happened to me in 2021, was that. Thank you so much. All you guys. There you go. I love you.
Don't stand next to John. He'll be like, hey, you want to go? It's your turn. So, hi, I'm Joanne. I'm happy to be here. 2021, yes, that's the year, has been a really good year. My friend came over this afternoon and asked me all of these like prompted questions. I was like, tell me about your year. How has it been? So I feel really prepared. Like I did my homework. And so 2021, yeah, I discovered, or I started to dig into the 12 steps really, truly for the first time. I did LifeLab, but I went through LifeLab. I had no idea what my problem was. I knew I needed God, but I think that was one of the biggest things, is that I really discovered and started to understand that, oh, this is my problem. So my problem is that I'm codependent, and my problem is that I'm powerless over this thing called adrenaline. And I'm not going to get into it, but I am an excitaholic, is what I am. I get really bubbly and excited, and it doesn't help that I'm an extrovert. But
I realized for so long I was going through life and not understanding what my problem was. I didn't understand why I had these troubles in relationships and why I didn't have peace of mind and why I felt like I was always missing out on something, or like why I would go and get so busy and distracted and all these things, only to crash and burn and then take it out on my family, or the people that were close to me. And it was like this horrible cycle, and I didn't want to do it anymore, but I couldn't break this cycle on my own. It wasn't possible. I realized I was powerless. So I got to go through this journey with my sponsor who lives in Alaska. Like, that's probably one of the coolest things about the pandemic, is like I've gotten to know these people. And like I was talking to the other day, side note, I was like, I feel like I really know you and like we're friends, but we've never actually met like face to face. Like, it's so strange, but it's incredible. And so, I feel like this past year has been a year of freedom that I've never known before. I feel like this year, my mind has actually slowed down and I've actually experienced peace that I've always wanted but could never figure out how to attain on my own. Yeah. And I feel like the cool thing I think of that is the aftermath, because the problem was within me. The problem was not all the people that I blamed for my issues. It was me. And so when I started to like look inside, and like you were saying, like I had this mirror put in front of me and I saw some ugly things and some things I wish that I didn't have. But it, like, as much as I want those things to not be in my life, they're there if I don't do anything about it. Like, nothing will change if I don't do something different. And so it's been a year really for me of a lot of growth, and there's been pain and there's been hurt and there's been lots of digging up of stuff. But the beautiful thing in all of this is it's not just the self-help thing, but the solution then is God. So I have all these problems, and then I have a God that can totally take care of it. I have a God that is like powerful over my powerlessness, and I get to tap into him and have access to that. And it's like, it blows my mind. And I think that that's the coolest thing, as you were even saying, is that it was God that did it. It wasn't me. I woke up one day and just was like, oh, like it's different in my head today. I can stop and I'm not freaking out about this or that, and I'm not worried about this or that, or I'm not trying to people please the people around me just to make sure that maybe by like a chance, maybe you might love me. But like, I got to come to this place of just like, oh, I'm already loved. Oh, I'm already accepted. I already belong. And like, now I can carry on with life and, like you said, help others and be like, hey, guess what? You have problems. Cool, I have problems. And like, but guess what? There's a solution. You don't have to live like that. And so that to me has been 2021. Do like a Lysol wipe drop? Yeah. Not a mic drop. They're expensive.
Hi everyone, I'm Addie, and hi, Happy New Year. 2021 has been a year that I feel like God has given me a lot of freedom in the area of anxiety. 2020 was a particularly bad year and kind of peaked anxiety and panic like early 2020. And one of the things that counseling has really helped me with is seeing that anxiety comes when we overestimate the risk and underestimate our ability to cope with that. And so I think just meditating this year on like probably 90% of the things that I'm afraid of aren't actually going to happen, and God is in control. And then also, like more importantly, God actually gives me the ability to cope with a lot of things that I don't think that I'd be able to cope with. And he has placed so much community around me that will help me to cope in whatever circumstance I end up being in, and so many resources, ways to communicate with him, and yeah, I just feel a lot more confident, and that's brought a lot of peace into my life this year.
I'm going to go because I know what you guys are like. We do this every year and you all do the same thing. You're all shy and nervous at first and then everybody tries to run up at the end. So I'm not waiting till the end. I know how this goes. So my name is Vicky, and so I was reminded this Christmas that we started this journey back in 2013. John and I have a picture of us sitting on an anchor in Montreal, and someone gave us a little anchor Christmas tree decoration this year. There's no possible way they could have known the significance of that. The scripture that there's a verse that I came across in the last couple of weeks as I started thinking about my 2021 reflection, which is something that I've just started doing in the last few years. No pressure from John at all, but just asking some really intentional questions and, like, what do I want to leave behind it was the first year was 2019. What do I want to leave behind in 2019? What do I want to remember about 2019? And so that's a practice that I brought into 2020, and then I did it again this year. And it was amazing to look back and read over those. One of the words that I had written for 2020 was, moving forward into 2021, I really felt like my word was going to be perseverance. And I had never picked a word before. Like, I'd never felt that. I've heard Christians do that, and I was like, oh, that's great for you. But I forgot about that. And later in the year, I was doing a very specific Bible study on growing in godly character. And I had to pick a characteristic that I wanted to actually grow in. And I picked perseverance. And not remembering that was a word that I had written in my journal at the very, actually on January 1st of 2021. Later in the year, I started thinking things like, so people around me were exercising and doing different things. And I started thinking things like, I wonder if I could be strong. I wonder if I could ever work out. And I thought thoughts like that for quite a while, actually, like a couple months. And then things like, I wonder if I could ever like fish, which I know sounds really silly, but I hate fish like so much. I don't even want to be in the room if you're reheating your lunch. Like, that's disgusting. Who brings fish to work? That's so gross. And so John would like cook fish if I'm not home for dinner, or my son would go to his grandma's house and she's like, you poor boy, you never get fish. She'd make fish for him. I love rainbow trout now. Like, I thought about it for a couple months. And I love rainbow trout. I haven't tried any other fishes. I feel like one is good. We just need one fish. And I've been working out consistently. I've been exercising consistently since the day after my birthday in August. And the cool thing about that is that's one of the things that we talk about a lot in LifeLab, which I did LifeLab 2 semesters a year for 4 years leading up to before the pandemic started. And one of the things we talk about is change your thinking and your behavior will follow. And so it was just like this poignant moment of like, I can start thinking something and asking God about that thing, and my behavior, he can change my behavior. It's not me, it's God, because I can wish for something as much as possible. But when I invite God into my thinking, so back to the anchor. 2013 was the year that John and I thought this insane thing of church planting, that we could start a church. Like, anybody could do that, right? And we went to this like dragon's den of church planting, and there was like 6 couples and all these people that were like analyzing us and doing all these different things with us. And it was super intense. And I remember feeling really proud of myself because I didn't cry. And which was a big deal for me because or swear, that was, yeah, there was people that swore and several people that cried. But, you know, we're 20 going into 2022 now. And the verse that came to me a few weeks ago, or yeah, it was in my morning devotional, was it's from Isaiah. It's Isaiah 52:12, and it says, "But you will not leave in haste or go in flight, for the Lord will go before you. The God of Israel will be your rear guard." And I loved that verse because it just reminded me that God is a God who sometimes can work really slowly. He's not in a hurry. Why am I in such a hurry? How come I'm not okay with my baby steps? How come, I get dissatisfied sometimes when things aren't going the way that I think they should be going? Or I get, sad when people who were, I'll just be honest, people who were really, consistent or committed at the church, and then they leave, and then I'm like so sad, but I'm like, because it's all about me. And then I just really felt God was just telling me like, no, 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 I go before you, and that he's my rear guard, which means God is like behind me, like with his big sword, looking back at like everything in my past, and he's not worried about that. Like all that stuff in my past, I can just give that to him. He's in charge of it. He's the rear guard. I don't have to be beating myself up over what happened in the past, or the things that I think I should be doing better or doing differently. That he's totally in charge of all of that, and he goes before. And so whatever 2022 is going to bring for me, for us, for the church, for our community, he's in charge. He brings it. And that was really significant for me because 2021 had 2 very significant disappointments for me, like a lot sadness, and yet a lot of good too. And so I feel like God has really shown me that both can be present and both can be real, and I can experience both real sadness, real disappointment, and still be okay with him.
That's fine. My wife is the one who should be up here. Well, we all should be up here, actually. God works for all of us. My name's Sean. Sean Haley. 2021. What you got? If you have an hour, I'll tell you what God did for me in 2021. God showed up in so many different ways in my life. We'll start with today. I'm 4 years sober today, this day, which is absolutely amazing for him. But I was 3 years sober last year, so that's no different than, he gave me another year of sobriety. That's good. I had the same kind of experience as John this year, where I dove a little deeper into my recovery. And recovery is tough a little bit as a Christian because I found myself in previous attempts, or even this attempt, thinking that I was more spiritual than other people, and that I didn't quite need to dive into the prayer and meditation like the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous describes. And this year I was humbled enough to try it, and it just brought me to a whole new level with God. Like John said, it was like, wow, I'm still selfish, and I'm still self-centered, and I'm still a prick sometimes. And I learned that this year. Thank you, God, for that. Thanks for letting me know I'm a prick sometimes. But this is the kind of things I need to be aware, so I can lean more into him, right? And I was able to do that this year. And you see my beautiful son there and my beautiful wife. COVID, believe it or not, has been the absolute most biggest blessing for my family. Because of the challenges, right? because of we have family who doesn't really believe in the whole COVID thing, doesn't agree with our views on it, and we've been put in a few situations where we've had to shut them out per se, not completely, but like just go against them and put them out of our little plans, and not little plans, our plans for our family. And it's really hard. We oh, look at me. We have a good my wife is so good that she leaves the decision making to me. She supports me. She trusts God. We have a household where we come together to make decisions, but the final call is up to God, and she trusts me to seek out God. And there's been some times this year where we've had to choose God over our family, and that's really tough because we don't want to hurt anyone, let alone our own family. And we've had to hurt our family a couple times this year, in the past 2 years anyways. But the beauty of it is God gives us the peace throughout it. God redeems it. He's redeemed it the last time. Right now we're in one of those phases right now where we had to choose to not have Christmas with our family. And what God does for me in those times is he always just reassures me that you just choose me and I'll take care of the rest. You choose me and I'll take care of the rest. And he always does, and I'm confident he will this time too. But what God's really done for me in this past year, he's brought me to a place where I want, my life is to serve God. I've always known that. But this year, especially the last half of this year, it's as much about just trying to be in his presence as it is to serve him. And I've really needed him. In that time specifically, I just have to be in his presence sometimes. I try to serve. We talked about it at work the other week. I try to serve out of my own desires and my own will sometimes. And I try and serve just to serve. And I try and do it without God. I'm doing God's will without God. Is that even possible? No. So God's taught me this year that I need to sit in his presence more often, which is the absolutely most blessing, the biggest blessing you can ever have. If you don't spend time sitting in God's presence, please just try it, because church is one thing and Bible studies are another thing, but you guys are going to say I'm repeating myself, that the everlasting mighty God is there for us to we have an opportunity to walk up the mountain and be with him at any time. And that's like, oh man, what else do you need but to be able to be with God? And he's given me the opportunity to, through trials, to do that, to have to do that more. And then I realized, wow, I don't need a situation in my life to go up that mountain. I can go up that mountain at any time. And I think that's what 2022 is going to be about for me, getting up that mountain as much as possible and staying up there. That's it.
My name is Jeffrey Moody, recovering drug addict. 2021 has been a wake-up call in some senses. It's been a disastrous year. Oh, no more. It's been my first attempt at becoming clean and getting off the street and getting 5 children returned to me in my and all I could afford, because I blew all $150,000 the prior year on drugs. I could only afford a 2-bedroom apartment and had 5 kids in there and young children. And then COVID shut down the schools, and I completely just was drained and couldn't mentally take it. So they Um, Stayed with me about 4 months and then returned back in care. And then I just let myself go down and spent the next 6 months just rotting and never leaving my apartment and just continuing to drive myself down. But I did, there's one good point out of it, that I did realize I need to make some changes. So I'm grateful for that. And with 2022 coming ahead, I'm going to take this year to just learn to let go of everything and not worry and try to. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks in Jericho, so. In Jericho tomorrow. Just let go and try to let the Lord into my heart and we'll learn more about Him. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. I don't have to fix this. Come on. I thought that the reflection was last week, so I already prepared. And then I was like, oh, it's not. Okay, I'll go do it this week. I always get so nervous. I was sweating sitting beside Kirsten. I feel like my hands are cold and then I feel sweat. I don't know if you guys get that. Anyways, like, don't want to take this jacket off. It's not a good sight. I was reflecting. Yeah, I was reflecting about. I like to do that. I like to reflect about my year going. Probably started that like 2 years ago. Let's be real. Hasn't been that long. And I was something that I realized this past year that I've been recognizing. Like God just really showed me that He's a redemptive God this past year. Like his character of redemptiveness really shone through some experiences I had. And I'd say so, like, I was thinking yesterday, I was like, oh my gosh, it's been 6 years. Jeez Louise, that's a long time. But I had an experience 6 years ago where multiple things were taken from me. And it led me into a journey of inner healing, therapy, led me, and then with other circumstances compounded on that, led me away from the Lord for a bit and then led me back to the Lord. And there's like multiple things that I had to really work through, and that I am still working through, and have to be honest with myself and honest with my therapist and honest with my community and all that stuff. And then this past year in 2021, I was placed in a situation where I was in a situation where it was really over consuming. It was like consuming my mind a lot, and it was really hard and really taught me a lot about prayer, taught me a lot about the beauty of community, the beauty of mentorship, and then all that. It was very difficult for me, but even through that, it was really interesting. I had a few interactions where the Lord showed me, like, the things that were taken from me 6 years ago were directly addressed. And it was directly addressed in a way that, like, that person would not have known anything about that thing 6 years ago. And I remember, like, thinking as that person was talking, and I was like, how do you know that? You don't know that. Like, those are not things I would have. Some of these things I have not told anybody. I haven't even told my therapist. And I remember going home and I'm just bawling my eyes out, and I'm crying because there was so much joy, because I was like, Lord, that was you. That was Jesus. Like, you're real. That was you. And this image came to mind of, like, 6 years ago, things were like uprooted. Like this image of, when you dig up a plant, like things were uprooted. But the Lord has been replanting, and He's been tending, and He replanted these things. And things were growing that I didn't even know were growing. And so it was just so cool. It was so redemptive. And
And then as I was reflecting too, like yesterday night, so I'm not that great, guys. I did it like a day after. I was reflecting and I realized too, because that one situation that I was in was so over consuming that I didn't even realize how many changes in my life actually happened. I moved houses. I actually changed jobs like 3 times, and also the job hasn't, like, it's a good job, but things have been changing a lot in that. And then um, I moved communities. It was my first year officially out of full-time school. Like there was a lot of changes. I changed church communities, and I realized, I was like, wow, that was a lot. And if that had happened like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that would have wrecked me. I would not have been okay. And so this verse kept coming into mind, like, the Lord is my shield and my rampart. And I'm like, what the heck is rampart? And I actually just looked it up as I was sitting there, because that line kept coming to me that I wanted to share. And rampart, Rampart, means blockade, it means barrier. And so I was just really reminded, like, wow, like the Lord really protected me throughout a lot of things, throughout and just seeing how, like, my growth through anxiety too, through this past 6 years too. Like if a lot of these changes had happened 5-6 years ago, I would not be the same person at all. And so seeing how, like, the Lord is just truly my shield and my rampart. And sometimes I write little dates in my Bible, and I was reading this a couple weeks ago, and I was reflecting on this, and so I just wanted to share with you guys. And it's very fitting. It's Isaiah 35, and this verse stood out to me in 2020. And then so for this, like, verse, it's called Isaiah 35, joy of the redeemed, and for the Lord's character of redemption to be what is, like, he really showed me this past year in 2021. That was just really cool that, like, I read it at, like, near the end of 2020, near middle end of 2020. So Isaiah 35, the desert and the parched land will be glad. The wilderness will rejoice and blossom. Like the crocus, it will burst into bloom. It will rejoice greatly and shout for joy. The glory of Lebanon will be given to it, the splendor of Carmel and Sharon. They will see the glory of the Lord, the splendor of our God. Strengthen the feeble hands, steady the knees that give way. Say to those with fearful hearts, be strong, do not fear. Your God will come, the will come with vengeance, the divine retribution. He will come to save you. Then will the eyes of the blind be opened and the ears of the deaf unstopped. Then will the lamb leap like a deer and the mute tongue shout for joy. Water will gush forth in the wilderness and streams in the desert. The burning sand will become a pool, the thirsty ground bubbling springs. In the haunts where jackals once lay, grass and reeds and papyrus will grow. And a highway will be there. It will be called the way of holiness. It will be for those who walk on that way. The unclean will not journey on it. Wicked fools will not go about on it. No lion will be there, nor any ravenous beast. They will not be found there. But only the redeemed will walk there, and those the Lord has rescued will return. They will enter Zion with singing. Everlasting joy will crown their heads. Gladness and joy will overtake them, and sorrow and sighing will flee away. And then one more thing that I want to, really quickly, context-wise, Zion, correct me if I'm wrong, John, is just like, it's a mountain, and it's like known for like joy and singing and where the Lord is. And so it is the context of the last verses. They will enter Zion with singing. Everlasting joy will crown their heads. Gladness and joy will overtake them, and sorrow and sighing will flee away. And one last thing is, and so I think I'm learning to, in like 2022, is just to be bold in asking the Lord to reshape memories and like little things. I think all of us going through life, like we have, I'm sure there's things, there's places, there's people, there's songs, there's sounds, there's like smells that probably leave a bad taste in our mouth. And so what I'm learning to is like being bold and asking the Lord of like, I get sad when I listen to this song, or I get sad when I like drive past this place, or when this happens, or I see this. And so Lord, may you give me a new memory with that. May you redeem that for me. And so I've already been seeing the Lord slowly do that, and in little ways. And so I just want to encourage you guys that the Lord is powerful, the Lord is good, and he knows these things, and he knows these little things that need redemption, and he will redeem us. So that's my share. Oh, you're so
fast, James. I haven't put on my mask yet. Look at this. Here. COVID friends, right?
Hi everyone, I'm James. Hi everyone. Hi guys. Hi my friends at Jericho boys, and we have a few online. Hi guys. Yeah, so this is has been a crazy year for me, absolutely crazy. And I was writing about it the other day in my journal, and it started out I was like, oh well, starting in January, it started to go downhill very, very quickly. When I look at 2021 as a whole, I can easily say it's been the best year of my life. Regardless of how bad things got at the beginning of this year, I can say 100% it has been the best year of my life, because it was the year that drove me to surrendering to God, right? And trusting Him. He led me to Jericho. The wild events that led me to Jericho, like I had already been going to church, a church here in Ottawa, Vineyard, and when my addiction really got out of control and drinking got out of control in like April, May, I went to the website for the first time, and the director of Jericho happened to go to my church, right? So, and then there were several other little events that led me to the doors of Jericho, and things have been amazing ever since. And God has been helping me every step of the way. As I started doing the 12 steps, being able to look at myself and see all these areas of my life, living for myself for the past 10 years that I was struggling with addiction, putting myself first before everyone, how selfish and self-centered I had been. And doing the program, doing the steps, and being able to study myself for 6 months. I've been at Jericho. This Sunday is actually my last Sunday at Jericho, because on Tuesday I head to the next house, which is kind of exciting for me. But God, He has been there, and I have been calling on Him every single night to help me through the steps of the program, as I've been looking at these character defects and all these areas of my life that I've been struggling with. And it is incredible, and I feel free. And 2022, I'm not even going to make resolutions. I don't even care. God is going to help me, and He's going to guide my step, every step of the way. I don't worry anymore. God bless you all.
I believe that Carrie's next. She's going to fly from down upstairs. She has earned her wings this year. And I think with Carrie, unless somebody has a strong burning desire, we will. I think we could do this all night, really. Maybe we should order in some food. Anybody got? Somebody start doing skip the dishes or something. DoorDash. What is it? What do the kids use? Uber Eats. Panda Express.
Hey everybody, I'm Carrie. Oh my gosh, 2021, what did God do? It's almost so much that it's just hard to pick, kind of just to sum it up. But overall, okay, so I'm in recovery as well for drugs and alcohol. But my journey began mostly in the church and Jesus. I found Jesus and fell in love, obviously, and went my way with Him, and the roots grew really deep, and I stayed sober. But then I relapsed. And ironically, I love God, because I was even worshiping Him while I was drunk as a skunk. It sounds horrible, but Hillsong United on, screaming at the top of my lungs, seriously worshiping the Lord, because I just knew I still needed Him. And He was still calling out to me, and I was being like, leave me alone, I'm trying to destroy my life. And God never did. He's so faithful. So when I finally hit a bottom, got sober again, I was like, yeah, I know I need AA. And I had gone to AA before, but I couldn't connect. It didn't feel safe. Those people at that time, they were those people. I don't know, I think they just terrified me. I didn't trust them, and I always just felt safer at church. But at the same time, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict, I needed the program. So basically in 2021, although I had done the steps a couple of times, different sponsors, I don't think I ever fully did them the way the book told us to. And then I found a new program called BBA, and honestly, that's what God revealed to me. God, I have a passion for AA, the big book, and I've always loved Jesus, but now I see them together, and I see them together so beautifully, how they complement each other, and I feel like I belong. I feel like I'm connected. I feel like I have a purpose, where before I was like church Carrie or I was like AA Carrie, and I never felt fully comfortable at either one. And I was still kind of hiding and almost being dishonest about who I was. And I don't have to do that anymore. And I just have this peace. I have a purpose. And I just know God's using me more now than he ever has, because I'm allowing him to. Because before I just didn't want him to. I think I was terrified. And I didn't like people because I wasn't recovered. So I was still hiding. So, and now I just love people, and I love connecting, and I love helping, which is huge. And one other thing, the fears. I remember I just did my steps in the summer maybe, and I had all these fears. I remember I had like 60 some fears, and you bring them all your fears. I remember sitting on this bench, and you're supposed to read them out to God and be like, hey, take all my fears. And I remember sitting there going, you can't do this. I remember like challenging, like, God, I don't believe you. There's no way you can, like, and I had such doubt. And within 2 weeks, no joke, gone. Almost every single fear on that list. And I remember telling my husband, like, how did that even happen? Like, I don't even know how that happened. And God has just been so faithful. And just a really quick story about that bench. I went to do my step 5, which is spend an hour alone with God. I found some random bench on this water where we live. And I'm sitting and I'm starting to prepare and getting all my notes out, because I kind of give you guidelines of what you're supposed to do. And this guy comes up to me and he goes, he's like, what did he exactly say? You know, he comes and he goes, hey. And I'm like, hi. He's like, you're sitting on my bench. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you want me to go? He goes, no, I want to thank you. He goes, thank you for sitting on my bench. He goes, I built this and no one comes to sit here. And he left. He goes, I honestly want to thank you. And I just left because I was praying to God before that. And I was like, that was from you, God. That was God saying, Carrie, thank you for coming to sit with me and spend this time with me. And I just lost it. And I started bawling, like, who does that? Thank you for sitting on this bench. I was like, it was such a God moment that I was just blown away. And so now I call it my God bench. And I say to my husband, I'm like, I got to go sit on my God bench. And he even said, I want you coming here. I want you here more. I want you to sit on my bench. This guy that I don't. Anyways, God is great. God is faithful. I love this saying, don't leave until the miracle happens, because it took me a long time, even though I was doing the right things. And the miracle just happened in 2021. So thanks, guys.
I'm not crying. You're crying. What I want to close with, and it's loud. Hello. Just what I wanted to close. I'm sorry if you wanted to say something. Would you just continue to say it, maybe online, or just give a praise report on our social media? Those still count. But Joanne said I had to shut it down. We're going. No. Okay, I did. She's an extrovert. She's like, let it go on till 6, 7 o'clock. I'm like, I'm hungry now, though. So what I do every year is I just try to seek God for, I do a reflection, but then I try to seek God for what will he have me be? What will he have me walk into for the new year? But I do it particularly for Union City Church, because a church isn't a building, it's a people, and I am part of a people. And so I just kind of seek God, and I was really having trouble because I wasn't hearing anything. I'm like, oh, I got nothing this year. It's going to be one of those years. It's like, oh, COVID's going to shut everything down. And of course, you're not going to speak to me. And so I think that's what Carrie was saying, just perseverance of wait, and just keep seeking and keep listening. And so I just listened. And I believe I got a word out of that. The word was open, and which is interesting. And then I saw like an open sign, like the little things that you pull, and it was open. And then I got a Bible verse that was in Isaiah 64 in verse 1-4. And it says, oh, that you would burst from the heavens and come down, how the mountains would quake in your presence, As fire causes wood to burn and water to boil, your coming would make the nations tremble. Then your enemies will learn the reason for your fame. When you came down long ago, you did awesome deeds beyond our highest expectations. And oh, how the mountains quaked. For since the world began, no ear has heard, no eye has seen a God like you, who works for those who wait for him. And so the next picture that I got kind of was that Jacob's ladder. And he's in persecution, and he kind of did some bad things. He was unfaithful to his brother and kind of ripped him off, kind of deal. A little brother rivalry, and it wasn't just a fist fight. It was, I'm going to kill you. And so Jacob was kind of on the run and was told to go to a certain province to go get married, and kind of run away from his brother till he cooled down. And then he had this dream. He rested at his head, and he had this dream, and the dream was this stairway to heaven, and the angels were coming down, and it was this like access to heaven that wasn't there before. And I really felt like God saying that under the Union City Church, and you can personalize it as well, that we're walking into a new year of having heaven open to us, being able to receive in a community sense, but also being able to have an open heart and an open mind. Maybe some of you have really struggled in 2001, and God just wants you to know that He's going to help you open your heart and open your mind. The other thing that I heard was an open line of transmission. There's one thing that I don't think anybody's a doctor or a psychiatrist in here, are they? There are lots of people. No. It was a yawn. But there are some of us in here that help a ton of people because we have this line of transmission. And so I really truly believe that God is giving Union City Church a line of transmission into the hearts of people to be able to give a message that will transform their lives, that will get rid of fear. And where God's perfect love is, it'll cast out all fear. And I really believe that God's going to open the doors for us to be able to be of service to other people, whether that's online or whether that's in person. And then I really feel that God's going to open doors for some of us, for the church community especially. There's going to be open doors. Yeah, and the final word was heaven is open to us this year. And I don't really know what that means. I don't know if Jacob woke up going like, oh, I got all the answers. I saw angels going up and down these stairs. But I think that's a cool word to walk into. And as my heart is expectant, we are going to be walking into a new season with our church and with our community. And so I'm excited for what God has in store. And I think that's really, I don't know if you've been to like you had to go get something, and you go to the store and it was closed and you're like, ugh, I got to wait till tomorrow, or I got to wait for business hours. The feeling is God is open to us, under the umbrella of Union City Church and all of the things that we're doing. I love what Vicky said, that He's got our backs and our fronts. He's all around us. He is a rampart. He is going to open the hearts of people. There's an ease when somebody's heart is open and they're receptive for change to happen. So that's kind of the word that I really had from God this year for the community of Union City Church. So I hope that you will participate in that under the umbrella. One of the highlights of my year was just seeing our leadership team, and it's, we're just trusted servants. We're not in authority over anybody here, but we have a team of people that I've seen grow drastically. And it's just amazing to be a part of that. So I'm excited about 2022. We do have some announcements that are going to be coming in the middle of January. I'm not allowed to talk about them particularly today, I was told, but we will be announcing some things in January. So we're going to close with a couple songs, 2 songs. So if you would like to join me in standing and shouting to the Lord, we will close our service in song. You don't have to stand.
altar's where you meet us. Take me there, take me there. What you need is just an offering. It's right here, my life is here, and I'll be a living sacrifice for you. You're a fire, the refiner. I wanna be consumed. I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. If your glory wants to come here, let it fall. We want it all. Your fire is consuming. Fill this place, set it ablaze, and I'll be a living sacrifice for you. You're a fire, the refiner. I wanna be consumed. I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. Clean my hands, purify my heart. I wanna burn for you, only for you. Take my life as a sacrifice. I wanna burn for you, only for you. Clean my hands, purify my heart. I wanna burn for you, only for you. Oh, take my life as a sacrifice. I wanna burn for you, only for you. Oh, clean my hands, purify my heart. I wanna burn for you, only for you. Oh, take my life as a sacrifice. I wanna burn for you, only for you. I wanna burn for you, only for you. I wanna burn for you, only for you. I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. You can take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. Please take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious deep that grace appeared, the hour I first believed. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope restored. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, with no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. We've no less days to sing in God's praise than when we first begun. Amen. Thank you so much for sharing your lives and for sharing your stories. It really just, the entire time, it was just worship, it was praise that was just rising up to this Mount Zion that we're talking about. And so keep sharing your story, because as you guys were telling your stories, so much of me was encouraged, and so much of, like, I identified and I learned something and light bulbs went off. And so I just feel like there is so much power in telling our story and what God has done. So keep telling that story this year. Yeah. All right. Well, keep telling it in here too. So anyway, bless you and peace be with you guys as you leave tonight.